This is April 13th today, is that right?
Today's the 14th.
14th, and we're recording, this is a recording of the Zoom call for Bahamas. So anyway, I'm recording now, so just so you know.
Mind my P's and Q's.
Yeah, it's so exciting when we record.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I just want to thank you all for coming. I think I know most of you or have conversed with most of you. My name is Beth and I am the Giving University Coordinator Administrator. And we are going to hear tonight from Raul. He's up there in my left-hand corner. It looks like the Brady Bunch. Raul, you want to wave at us? There he is. And then Pam Taylor is one of our co-leaders. Our other co-leader is Chandler Harrison, and he is being inducted tonight onto a board of a new organization that he's a part of. So he's not going to join us this time, but he'll join us next time. And I know there's quite a few new students. Lori and Dal are out of Colorado, and they graduated last year. I think June, you did too, right? You graduated in 2020. Noelle, I don't recall when you have graduated, so if you want to chime in, you can. Michael is a veteran. He's been on our Belize trip with Pam, and that happened in March of last year. So excited to have you all on. I know that there are others that are interested in being a part of the trip, but they just weren't able to make it tonight. So we'll, like Dan said, we're going to record it and be able to share it with everybody. We wanted to try to, keep this at an hour. So, we'll let everybody kind of check in and trying to touch base on, how's it going in COVID? I think, Raul, the thing that I'm thinking of the most is how are the people doing down there? How are you and Karen doing your ministry? I hope you'll share, all of those details. Raul is going to be our host down in Bahamas, Grand Bahama Island. And you and Pam, how long have you been friends?
I think about 4 or 5 years now, Pam.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
At least 4.
Who recruited who?
I think I fell in love with Pam. I met her, and Pam has a way where the things that you think you can't do, she gets you to do. She pull it off. Just.
Yeah. A good leader.
Yeah, we met in Belize.
Right.
Cool. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I wondered about how you two came connected. So please, Raul, we'll turn this over to you. And then, Pam, I think you have things you're going to share about the organizations as well. I know you three have been talking. We'll talk about some of the projects and then we'll answer any questions, or if you have questions along the way, don't hesitate to, pipe up or raise your hand or whatever. Okay. All right. Raul, it's all yours, my friend.
Okay. Well, we're doing pretty good in Grand Bahama. The Bahamas is actually receiving tourists now. We actually have an application for a cruise ship to stop over, which is really, really exciting considering there would be 6 or 7 per day. And to see the application for a cruise ship to stop, it really means that there are positive changes taking place based on the vaccine and, all the COVID-related matters that affect travel. You can fly into the Bahamas or Grand Bahama Island or take a ferry. And all that's required is an RT-PCR test, COVID test, negative test to be presented on the way in, and included in your travel visa is an antigen test, where on the 5th day they would do a single nasal swab, and that gets you back into the United States, because you need an antigen test to get back into the United States. So there's a lot of positive things happening. The Prime Minister has suggested that he will make a bid for an extension of the emergency powers, but whether that happens or not, I think we're headed in the right direction. If it does not happen, his powers are finished. His special powers, we just laugh a little bit by calling it his special powers, but his emergency powers for COVID, that's COVID related, would end in June, which leaves us to being very normal in all of the laws. So whether they continue or not, I
Okay,
think there will be travel. The country's open. Things are in place that would keep us safe. There are guidelines, and of course, the suggestions of mask and social distancing and washing your hands will be continued.
so can I interrupt you real quick? When you say special powers or emergency powers, does that mean that there are restrictions? And if he doesn't get them renewed, they will be removed?
His emergency powers give him the ability to open, close, shut down the country, stipulate if there are lockdowns or not, all of the things that are necessary to be put in place. Those are, and then also to give exemptions and things of that nature to provide finances and concessions for businesses, stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yes, but we are excited. We're looking forward to the trip. July, I think July will be a time when the country is so excited for the possibility of travel that it should be really easy getting in and getting out. We have been doing some basic prepping and planning and looking at all of the things that we agreed upon and that were put in place. Pam will bring you up to date with the organizations. But Karen's fine. The feeding program sponsored by GU was a hit, an awesome, amazing hit. We served 2 islands. We really impacted people where they needed it, hot food and kits. And that was very successful. We also the tool project, as you know, it was delayed a little bit because of my dad's illness, having to care for him, and then I wasn't able to travel. But I can do a whole PowerPoint on the tools and the pallets and all that stuff, but it'll take too long. But only thing left is for us now to present to specific individuals. But we were able to take care of all of that, purchase the tools, get them shipped over to the Bahamas, and we're negotiating with the government a little bit on the duties. But I think we'll get full concession on those. So we have a way of getting things done, and then they ask us to pay for it later, or they give us the actual documents to say that we can do it after we've gotten it done, which is a good thing. Metamorphosis. We're able to meet now based on the size of the building. So if the building usually holds 100 people, you can actually meet now with 30 to 40 people. So there isn't a law that says only 6 or 10 people can gather together. It's based on social distancing. So we can have gatherings, we can have meetings, we can do things together. So Metamorphosis is winding up, it's gathering up, and it'll probably be right at the place where you can enjoy it really well when you get down, because of it being a 12-week program. We'll be somewhere around the middle. So I think that's going to be exciting for all the folks who come down and want to interact with the young girls. God's Garden, we were able to clean down the land right next door to the mission base, where we'll be able to put in some plants, some above ground gardens, and hopefully, depending on who's on the team, put in some systems. We were delayed a little bit because we still had brackish water from Hurricane Dorian. So when you run the water from the tap, instead of getting nice fresh water for the plants, you would get brackish water. And it just killed too many of the plants. But we're at the place now where the water is pretty good. You can actually drink it and cook with it. So the land's cleared down, and we'll have some things in place for individuals to work with. And you'd be able to go out to God's Garden, the one that was destroyed by the hurricane, and actually see a pond there and get a good idea of what that could be. The mission.
Real quick, so Dorian, right, was October of 2019. Is that
correct?
What I recall. Wow, so it's taken more than a year to get the brackish water to move out of your area.
And we don't have fresh water on 100% of the island yet.
Okay.
So from the fresh water came from the west, and it's gradually going up towards the east.
I know we haven't talked about it, but maybe we can add that idea to part of our trip is, addressing the water issue. I don't know if that's something, Pam, maybe we can look into, if you'll just kind of make a note on that for future.
Yes, I think Mercy Cure is still providing some water. Samaritan's Purse is closing down. They will be leaving the island I think it's May 5th. And that the last person is supposed to leave the island at the end of May. So they are administratively closing down, finishing up completely. So I think the only NGO, a foreign NGO on the island will be Mercy Corps, if they're still there by the time as you arrive. But water is definitely, potable water, there's definitely a need for it on some parts of the island still.
All right, thanks.
The mission base is all set and ready. I spoke with Chandler today. I have prices on like the toilet bowls, face basins, tiles, wires, cabinets, all those things. So I'm going to send him a copy of that, so we'll know exactly what we're dealing with. I've already met with the hardware store, and whenever we're ready, we can put in an order. And if they do not have it on the island, they just need 2 to 3 weeks to have it available for us. Once we pay for it, they will order it and they will have it on island for us. So we're one step ahead there in knowing what we need, and we have a way to get it on island.
So are you thinking then June, mid-June, like by June 11th, we should have some kind of an idea of what our order should be then, to give them that leeway? Because that's, a month ahead.
Yes, we should be able to go in with a list and put if not a deposit, pay for everything and have them ordered, because we have to do, like, the tiles would have to come from a tile store. The hardware would come from the hardware store. And the hardware store is connected to, one part of it is where you get the basins, the toilet bowls, and different things. But there's about 3 locations we have to order through.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Okay. Sorry, I keep interrupting you, but I don't want to forget these things.
That's okay. The mission base, we were able to complete the refurbishing and painting of the outside. The roof is done. So all of the work that we promised would be ready for the inside, we're there. So just a couple more things to be done, but we're on target for being exactly where we need to be when the group gets on island. The fishing program, we were able to get the new engine put in the boat. It's back in the water, and all goes well. You've suntan a little bit for Jesus. So that should be a fun part. It's coming along well. We literally are able to help 9 families with each boat. So once this boat gets up and running, that's 9 families that would be able to benefit by, they won't be able to do lobster between April and July, but August 1st, the lobster season opens. Until then, it'll be fish and conch, and we'll see where it goes, and what of it we can experience while you're there. But you know how the ocean is, it kind of dictates, so you can't plan this far out.
You have 9 families that will work like cooperatively using this one boat to fish.
Yes, well, it'll be one person from each family. So usually we look for a male. There's close quarters, so you get all the males, and sometimes there'll be 3 or 4 going on a trip, and then or 5 going on a trip. So one group will work this week, the other group will work the next week, and the boat literally takes care of 9 families once it's managed well. And then we have home repairs. We slowed down on home repairs because our resources were all eaten up, but there's still a lot of homes on Grand Bahama that, severely damaged by Dorian. And we continue to work with the people as best we can, however we can, when donations come in. So any openings or opportunities there, we're always connected to the community. The feeding program continues. We were able to stimulate using the grant that was given to get people in the community to understand and experience the value of what we were doing. And we just reported to the board the Buy One, Feed One program. So there are people who they can't afford to donate a significant amount of money, but they eat lunch every day. So they would purchase a lunch from the feeding center, and by purchasing that one lunch, they feed one person. And it's beginning to catch on. We're averaging 200 to 300 meals per week, and there's a demand for more. I pray that tourists begin to come back, because that is the only thing that will really, really make a significant difference in getting people back to work. 80% of our tourists come from the United States. So if you guys don't travel, we have a 1,500 room hotel that's closed, and it's not going to open until you guys start traveling, stuff like that. So once it comes back, once the tourism comes back and people begin to travel, then the burden of assistance gets lighter. I think,
Beth, I don't know if everyone knows what he was talking about, the Metamorphosis program.
Oh, sure. You want to circle back on that? How, Raul, what else is on your list?
that's about it. I think those are the main things where our GU focus is. And I think that's where the greatest impact, the greatest good for the greatest amount of people will come from.
Okay, great. Yeah, Pam, you want to elaborate on any of those?
Well, I would like for Raul to do that. He was talking about the 12-week course.
Yes. So Metamorphosis, it's just what it means. The young girls go through a program that consists of learning boundaries, learning what it is to go into puberty and maintain boundary sexual purity. They learn etiquette, social graces. They learn how to interact and maintain the character of a healthy, beautiful, godly person that an individual could love and care for. I can't find a better adjective, because they use that in the program. So they, good, strong character, to be the most beautiful female you can be, inside and out. That's the program is all about. So there are groups of young girls. They start at age 7 or 8 and go through 12. Then there's 13 through 16, and then 17 and above. So they go through these sessions every week, and one session may be, having a lunch, and a part of that, having that lunch, is learning how to use the cutlery properly, learning the social graces of how to sit, how to move. There are many young girls who live in an environment where they don't have cutlery in their home. They don't sit around the table and eat. So they get to learn that as a part of Metamorphosis. They interact with each other. They learn how to communicate and experience what it is to be social. You have some girls come in and they're like, "What up, my dog?" No, not here, not in Metamorphosis. It's good afternoon, how are you? There are certain areas where that is celebrated, but here you will learn another way of communicating and addressing individuals, and they love that. They go back home and share it with their parents, and it really is a blessing in many ways. So Metamorphosis continues. Pardon
That's
me?
how Beth greets me on Monday mornings at work. She says, "What up, my dog?" That's how she is.
Yo,
That's a good one. But Metamorphosis is a program where we have success cases. We have young girls that went to the program and they're working in the banks. They're working in government jobs. They're now married, developing their, growing their own families. So it is a highly impacting program. And it affects the home, it affects the mothers. We've had mothers come and say, listen, man, my daughter is so different. You know, she cares about herself. She cares about the way she dresses, or she cares about the way she speaks. She's correcting people in the home, which is a positive thing. So it's a program that's really, really celebrated.
Oh, that was fabulous. Thank you for sharing that. Thanks, Pam, for asking him to elaborate on that, because I know there's a couple of the women that are on this call that have a message of beauty to convey and to share, their life stories. So that would be a really awesome fit, to be able to come alongside those girls and wherever else there are kids, right, to engage in your community. So wonderful. Thank
I
you.
think Karen is really counting on that, because I know, Pam, you and Karen were talking. I think she's looking forward to some of the women coming and just sharing with the girls, letting them know that you can be a success in wherever your giftings are, and whatever you want to do, you can achieve. So I think that would be really, really a good thing for them to attend the class and participate.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely want to fit that in. That would be wonderful. Pam, did you have other things you wanted to share?
Yes, the other three organizations that we're going to visit, I've gotten a little bit more information back from them. One of them is the Grand Bahamas Children's Home, and they've kind of finished up the buildings, but what they need help with, of course, is funding, where they're struggling to pay staff, to buy food, to pay the electrical bill, and many other things that they mentioned. They right now have 43 children, and they are going to add more in the next month. So she was telling me that the power bill runs anywhere from $2,000 to $2,400 a month. Groceries are around $2,000 per month, and to house, take care of per child, it's $12,480. So, and also they're trying to add more teachers because of the increase in the number of students, and that would be about $1,950 per month to add teachers per teacher. So money is what they're in greatest need of.
Do they have a sponsorship program for the girls or the kids?
She sent me something about signing up, but that's something I will find out more about. She sent where sponsors would sign up, but I think it was more like corporate. Is that what you're talking about, or individuals?
No, yeah, individual support. Yeah. If they're in need for, just to support, an individual, a child, and they already have 43 and there are more coming. Yeah. My thought was just thinking, okay, well, I wonder if they have a sponsorship, that we, any one of us, anyone who goes on the trip might have an interest in sponsoring one of the kids. That was just, thinking about that. Okay. If you'd ask, yeah, that'd be great.
I will ask. Forgot something else popped in my mind, but it popped out just as fast.
Sorry.
When you mentioned that. One of the other ones is the YMCA of Grand Bahama, and their building is pretty much, they've repaired everything, but it's the same thing. They need funding. They need money to help pay utilities. They go in and, have lots of activities for children to do. So pretty much that's where it all is now, is funding. They need help paying bills, buying food and stuff. The other organization is the Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association. They mentor students or children. It's a coaching type mentoring organization. They've put in the lights, they've got nets and fences, but what they need is the dirt. that goes on because on the field, because it was all washed away, and the price got was astounded by it. It was like $70,000. So, you know, I
They
don't,
need a boatload of dirt from Florida, huh?
yes, they do. They
Okay.
called it curry
Quarry, yes,
dirt.
quarry. Mhm.
Oh, Corey.
How do you spell that?
Quarry,
Oh.
quarry.
The note I get was Curry. That's what I'm going. What is that? You know. So they can't actually have any games until they get this dirt. It was all
Right.
washed off the field.
Wow, wow, wow.
Remember, our islands are atolls. They're just rocks in the middle of the Atlantic with little dirt sprinkle on it.
Yeah,
So any flooding, that's the first thing happen. You lose that.
yeah.
How would they do that? I mean, if they got the dirt, it would have to be shipped in, right? On a ferry or what?
There's a plant that that makes aragonite,
Mm.
which it's similar to quarry, but while they're digging for aragonite, they move the quarry, and they would purchase it from them and just move it by dump trucks. Or if it's from another island, they would bring it over on one of those supply barges.
Okay.
That's why it's so expensive.
The other thing that they needed help was they have a snack bar there. They needed help with that. But
Okay.
those were the three other organizations, you know, in addition to CARISM.
Okay. Good report. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Terrific. Questions, anybody? Dan, should we pop up the itinerary so we can just, see,
Yeah, is there some people on here that haven't seen the itinerary previously?
I think Kathy, June.
Hi
Noel.
there. Yeah, this is Kathy, and I have not
Hey,
seen it
Kathy.
yet. Yeah, I have
Okay,
not
sure,
seen it.
we can take a quick
Pop
look
it
at it.
up.
That'd be great.
Okay, so, need to move all your faces around. So I can
While
see
you're
my-
doing that,
Yeah.
when you say they do a test on you 5 days into it, is that just a positive, negative COVID test?
Yeah, it's an antigen test. Yeah, but you may have to have a test to go into Abaco. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we may be able to get that test the day before and use that same test to go over to Abaco.
Okay.
Okay,
So
the
that
other
was
thing is
My
it
other
kind
questions
of
was
with
about
somebody that,
Abaco. Go ahead.
I think the other thing is if somebody gets COVID, we gotta have a plan of where they stay and all that good stuff. I think
Yeah.
you guys know that though.
We talked a little bit about that, and so you know, originally I think last year before we started to postpone, we had commented on that, and I believe Raul said, you know, it shouldn't be a problem, but we do need to kind of have a format in place to decide, you know, is it somebody's home? Is it a hotel? How do we expedite them? And we need to talk about that. We can do that, you know, off the call, certainly. But that is.
I mean, it just needs to be on it just needs to be on our list.
Yep.
It's
Agreed.
kind of it's a crummy thing to talk about. You know, it's so boring. It's not exciting at all. But to be super safe, we got to just make sure we kind of got an exact, as closely to exact as we can plan in case something happens.
You know, there was some talk about insurance. Is that part of it? Will we be able to purchase that? Would they provide us transportation back to the States if we got sick with COVID or whatever?
I know GU would pick up the tab to cover that if in fact that was still the case. I know, Raul, you mentioned it probably on our last call last year about the government issuing or having partnered with someone to provide insurance. I don't know if you know if that's still possible or if they dropped that particular initiative.
with so many of the emergencies restrictions being lifted, I'll have to check and see where they are with that. But I think the smartest thing would be to secure a location just in case, because as there's a basic fear that you don't hurt yourself when you get COVID now, you hurt somebody else. That seems to be what's trending a lot.
Okay.
So it's just self-quarantining more than anything else now.
Okay.
Like on the beach or what?
Find a place near the beach, right?
Yes.
What do they
Okay.
do? What's their plan with the tourists? I mean, they want all the tourists to come. What do they tell them? Do they have some kind of government plan for tourists at all?
Not really, other than the hotel. Um, you would quarantine an Airbnb or a hotel. But I'm going to double check. I'm going to check again and see where they are and if that has changed in any way.
Okay. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, because if we get the mission base squared away in the week, anything happens, a person can just stay there.
Okay, that'd be
So
great.
you kind of opened up a topic that maybe we should let everybody who's on the call, I don't know if any of you want to kind of chime in and give us, feedback on how you're feeling about travel. Have you gotten the vaccine? Are you just observing, health protocols? We can discuss that now. More than happy to have any of you, bring up and, share with us your point of view. That would be helpful to us.
I can start. I did have my first shot, and my second shot will be next week.
Okay.
So it certainly is a level of comfort for traveling, taking the precautions, mask distancing, hand washing, what we've been going through for the last year or so. But
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Dal, how about you?
I have some questions from like a disaster recovery, business continuity type of thing. I think in one of the last conversations we had was that one of us would be paired to stay with that person if they were sick. So I know Lori and I think would be most comfortable together, having each other's back if that happened.
Gotcha.
At this
Okay.
point, yeah, I haven't been able to get in to get my vaccine. So
Yeah. What we would do is one of the leaders would agree to stay behind or make sure that any one of the students who are going on the trip is safe. We didn't want to have all of the burden fall upon Raul and his wife, to have to make sure the person gets food, is cared for. So that's good to know. Thank you that you would be willing, to obviously take care of one another. I know that means, time quarantined and time not able to get home. Those are definitely logistics we have to consider. So we're not demanding that you get the vaccine. It's not going to be GU protocol, but as Dan has kind of been working from the perspective of, everybody be as healthy as possible. If you have access to supplements, take supplements. If you have access to hydroxychloroquine, that can help, stave off more severe symptoms. Those types of things are things we want you to be proactive about with regards to your health. And Dan, do you want to say anything about, a Mexico trip? I think we're kind of looking towards this first trip at the end of April as kind of our benchmark to see how we do.
Yeah, that's really, it's kind of a different thing because we can drive people back to the United States. So it's not quite as brave or however you want to state it. So I think the best thing to do is look at what they're doing probably for tourism, because they're going to have to be creative in what they do for tourists. And maybe we might have to take a look at renting well, it depends. If we get a place where people can stay, that's one thing. What we're doing on this trip is we're in the vehicles, we're doing half full vehicles. and we're doing half full accommodations, which I imagine we can do on the Bahamas trip. So the I don't know, it's so hard to say what the risk is, and if everybody's healthy when they get there, if it'll even be discovered. But if they're doing tests mid-trip, what we have to do is have a plan on if somebody's negative or positive mid-trip, how do we handle that? That's really the hard part.
Okay.
What we kind of thought about doing is we said the leader has to agree to stay, or another person in the group that doesn't have to be the leader, but a mature person. We don't want to just leave people overseas.
I'll stay.
Yeah.
Pam,
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
she'd be so happy to stay.
yeah, in that case, we've solved the problem. But normally what we felt was the leader would have to be willing to stay up to 10 days. If that's what it took. We also feel like whoever we're visiting on these trips will probably become very good friends of the group. And we just want if let's say I got sick in the Bahamas, and after 3 days I felt, I was well taken care of and everything was good, then the sick person could release the leader to go back to the United States if that's what it took. So the Bahamas is the first overseas trip. So if we end up doing it, it's kind of a little bit of a breakthrough because everybody's freaked out. I mean, it's just like the Nigeria trip. We got a group from Denver and they already want to bump it to next year. And so a lot of it depends on the countries. But a lot of it's just in our heads. When you look at the odds are so low. It's like, it's really pretty low, but it's trying to break people out of the fear is really what we're trying to do. And I think what'll happen on a trip is after 4 or 5 days, people will start getting more comfortable with being somewhere else. It's like on our Mexico home build trip, our in-field leader said, just consider it like going to the grocery store, when you're building a house. So if you kind of look at it that way, you go, yeah, I do, I'm not afraid to go to the grocery store. But it's one thing to say that, it's another thing to be overseas and have something happen to you. So we're really concerned about that. We just want people to be healthy, to take a lot of vitamins ahead of time. The vaccines is always, I have people in my own personal life telling me not to take the vaccine because if I do, I'll die. And I have people that say, if you don't take the vaccine, you'll die. So apparently I'm going to die no matter what I do. So that's just how it is.
Have you cleared it with Jesus? Just saying.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, let me ask you a question. What percentage of tourism is back at this point? Is it like 3% or 5% or 10%? Where are they at?
I think we're somewhere between 1% and 2%.
And are they making everybody mask up everywhere, like in the beaches and all that, or is it just in the hotels?
Not on the beach, not on the beach, but
hotels?
You can't, every restaurant or building or whatever, you'll see a sign on the door, you must wear a mask in closed areas.
Yeah. How are they, what are they thinking will make a difference to get people over there?
I think there's an ad they were running. It's all right, it's okay, let's do it anyway. And it was centered around people just being so comfortable at home that you need to motivate them to leave the safety zone.
Right.
There's this, the norm now is this, stay at home, stay safe, and people get so comfortable there that you have to encourage them to leave that, get out of your comfort zone, go do something, have fun.
Yeah, what we do now is we stay in our homes and we watch the Bahamas highlights on the 75-inch screen, big screen, so we don't have to go anywhere.
Yes.
Yep. Hey, Kathy Hughes, you have been share your perspective, would you? hopefully. Mhm.
I will.
Yes, please, Noel. Thank you.
So I just got an email from my school this week that said that I'm eligible to come in for the vaccine. And so I'm definitely going to be getting on that list to come in and get vaccinated as soon as possible.
Okay. That will get you back in school then too, right?
Yes,
Or
they're
class.
doing in class starting in the fall.
Okay.
And I've been taking, safety precautions, social distancing, supplementing vitamins. And so
Yeah.
I think that with, the vitamins and with the vaccine, I'll feel pretty good traveling and stuff.
Great. Good. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
So at Dan's and my company, our CFO wants to start a walking program to incentivize people to get out, much like, it's all right, it's okay, get out and do it anyway, because people are just sitting on their duff doing nada. And I think that's why we're so hopeful that, the Mexico service trip will, get us rolling. So thanks everyone for sharing who wanted to share. I wanted to get into I'm going to hide your faces. I'm going to get into the service trip component of it. And mind you, we started this in 2019, I think. Yeah. So I don't know that we're necessarily going to go in this order, but what I do know is that Raul and Karen will meet us. That will be our first day. The July 9th timeframe, that's our departure day, depending upon where everybody's coming from. For instance, June is in New York, so she might get there sooner than us that are in California. So our goal is to all arrive as close as possible to the same time frame. So July 9th is arrival day. July 10th, I don't know, what is July 10th? I should look to see what day of the week that is. So July 10th is a Saturday. Travel day is a Friday. So as you can see, it's, optional church on Sunday, July 11th. I think what we talked about originally was that we would take our first day with you just to kind of do introductions, see, what else going on. I don't know if it makes sense to make that a day of touring, get instructions for our projects that we need to do. I definitely want to learn about, the different religions and cultures, the things that, you all grew up with. What are some of your bigger challenges, the things that you face, just everyday life. So again, so it looks like we kind of put in on the second day, or on Sunday, I should say, we put in time for kind of a historic district option. We may move that to later in the week to break up our service time. So that's kind of we definitely want to fit in a cultural day, but it may be further into the week. So we'll work on that.
Yeah. Just one quick thing.
Yeah.
July 10th is a holiday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's good. That's where we can focus in on orientation and all those things. That'll be fun.
What holiday is it?
It's Independence Day, so there may be a rally on the park celebration type thing.
So that
We
could be
might
part of our
get
culture
some.
day.
Yeah, might get some Junkanoo if all goes well. There'll be a
What?
Junkanoo festival, and that is the super festival.
So Junkanoo, how is that a food?
No, it is actually a festival, a celebration and freedom dance where they make costumes and then they play music, all wind instruments, and they dance, drums and horns, and
Okay,
real celebration.
that's great. It could be just a fun time that day. Great. Okay, so I will make a note on there that.
I have a question on on your base, Raul. It says visit Kerosene Mission Base. Is the base under repair? Because you said it was, I think
Yes.
you're under repair still?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
okay.
one of the projects. So yeah, we've done all the major work now. It's just inside, drywalling, tiling,
Oh,
bathroom.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Is it inhabitable at all right now? by anybody, or what's, well, let me ask you a question. What do you normally, if times were normal, how many people can you put there?
There's two-bedroom units downstairs. Those are the ones we'll be working in. There's 2 one-bedrooms upstairs and a studio upstairs. So
Oh,
with
okay.
bunk
I think
beds,
so our group isn't really staying there, right, Beth?
no, they're not
We're
staying there.
doing a hotel.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I think what we said is if somebody got COVID, we'd get a room probably there just to, we could probably make a room there work. I think that's what we were
Yes.
saying. Okay.
Or
That makes
at
sense.
yeah, a bed and breakfast or somewhere, more isolated
Yeah,
opportunity.
except when you're dragging people in with COVID to these places, you're gonna have to lie out the whole time, basically. But if he has his base and we have a room there we could use, that's the safest way to do this. Because I'm
Okay.
sure what's gonna happen, I'm almost positive that hotels will take care of their own tourists. But if people have COVID, I don't know of anybody that if everybody's honest, will let you bring them into a place to stay. So I think I mean, obviously you want to, I think just if you get one room going really quickly on the trip, that might be a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll be having meals at the training center.
Right.
So which is right around the base.
Right.
Yeah. So all those things are in place. Meals and transportation and everything is easy. So if they have to stay there, we can care for them well.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think if you can figure out a way to get one room halfway decent, I think it makes that
Yeah.
part a lot better.
Now that we've discussed that, yeah, I think we'll make sure one of those 1-bedroom units have furniture and everything in it and
Right.
is ready.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
even if it's just drywalled without, finished drywall, just kind of ready to go in the emergency, I think that'd be best.
Okay.
It's worst case.
Yeah, and if you need support for that, we can talk, at another time, to help you with funding, to make that happen. We can discuss that. So moving on, I know I put 5:45 a.m. up. That's a Dan Dyke thing. Dan usually rouses the troops really early, but that doesn't mean I think necessarily that we'll be rolling that early. We'll work out a time for, when we should be on site and when we get breakfast and that sort of thing. I know we mentioned home rebuild. Again, this may vary depending upon, who or where Raul is able to work out the partnership to start the work on these various different places that need support. This trip itself has more service time than some of our other trips just because of the need. So want to make sure everybody's aware of that. We'll never ask you to do something that's outside of your comfort zone, but if there's painting or hammering, we want to make sure that we have a balanced team, that's willing to do some of that other type of work, bringing your tools and your talents all together, to be able to make this a good trip for everybody. So you'll notice I put in there, meet with the Auburn team. At one point in time, we were hoping to have the University of Auburn, oh gosh, it's John Riley's friends, Pam, I can't remember what department they come from Auburn. But there was that partnership we were hoping to help establish, to help, reestablish the garden.
Hey, Beth.
John Riley.
Sneaked into the meeting.
Nice.
Hey, how you doing?
Great.
Good to see you.
You too.
Good to see you. Thank you. James and
Perfect
well?
timing.
Yeah.
Long story, but yeah.
Good. It's good to see Raul and Sweet Dan down there. The team from Auburn, we're hoping to have 4 horticulturalists. One is has his own nursery business in Montgomery, Alabama. The other 3 or 4 that could possibly go are former department heads at Auburn horticulture. I've told Raul a lot about this. but they are real excited about doing it. David has a problem with the first few days, the 9th to the 15th, but
Okay.
we're looking at 2 of the other men who can hopefully go for the whole time that the team is there. Raul possibly, and he can add to this too, possibly Raul and 2 other men, 1 or 2 other men will be going to Echo in Fort Myers, Florida for training in agricultural products for that particular soil and climate on Grand Bahama. And we've worked out with them that they can go and they'll be taken care of their training. So that's still definitely a possibility for at least hopefully 2 of them coming, maybe 4 coming the same time GU is there.
Wow, that would be phenomenal. That would be so cool.
These are good guys, and all of them really love the Lord and want to help people. They're big on missions. They've all done mission work, so they're ready. They'll do a lot in hydroponics, and they're doing stuff now with box gardens.
Mhm.
And Ro will see a lot at Echo, the different ways to plant. So this is a good possibility, and hopefully some folks on the trip with GU will enjoy the gardening part, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities for that.
Yes.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. Yay. Thank you for that update, Mr.
Oh,
Wright.
thank you for letting me sit in. It's good to see y'all.
Of course, you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so obviously that could be a really big highlight of our trip. We talked about the feeding program, and as Pam mentioned, the Grand Bahama Sports Association mentoring program. The one thing we didn't really talk about, Raul, is, getting out to Abaco. So I also, the opportunity perhaps to meet Christine Bostwick, who's out there on Abaco. Anything else, that might make sense to get out there? That could be a full day, right? Or maybe a half day opportunity. Can you touch on that, Raul?
Yes. Abaco can be, I think it'll be exciting. Where they are now, they're really progressing, but there's still a lot of work to be done there. With the out islands, as we call them, or family islands, the process for everything is very, very slow. And Dorian took out the main frame, economic frame of Abaco. So the progress is very slow getting back. But it'll be more of a drive around trip than interactive. Because of that, there's still a lot of businesses. They're all closed. I was there the other day to do some work with Samaritan's Purse, and some parts of it still look like a ghost town.
Okay.
So we'll see by July.
Research. Yeah, research for us as students, to investigate, obviously, to see if there's anything that we can be doing to support them. So yeah, I know that we were hoping, obviously things have changed. When we first put this into play, we really wanted to see an island that unfortunately had been so devastated by, a natural disaster. So that really, it's great if we get to meet people, but if we're just driving, that's fine too. So hopefully it'll work out.
I'll try to find some individuals who are very knowledgeable about what's happening on the island, or where they were, where they are, and where they're going. So I think that'll be very helpful for the students.
Yeah.
But it's hard to pin them down, because with the government officials, they're in there for a while and they can't wait to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It may be the 2 weeks before we,
Right.
come out, and, we'll wing it as much as possible.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. All right, so carrying on here, visiting the Grand Bahamas Children's Home, like Pam mentioned, their need obviously is financial, power bill, food, things like that. It'd be good to be able to see them. If there's opportunity to hang out with the kids, that's even better. But I also know sometimes orphanages are sensitive to having outsiders come and, socialize with the kids, because it kind of sets the kids up for hopefulness that, they're going to return. So I don't know if there's that sense of concern over spending time with the kids. So definitely we'll be mindful of that. And then you'll notice on here that perhaps we'll deliver groceries. You know, if we can get out to see the fishing boat or meet the families, that's great. Definitely want to connect to the Metamorphosis program. And then we will head home on July 18th. Will be our travel day. And July 18th is a Sunday. So you are planning, you're leaving on a Friday, you stay the entire week, and then you leave the following weekend. Basics when it comes to what your responsibilities are. Passports, definitely. Obviously taking care of your health. Any small spending money that you might feel like you want to, buy, souvenirs or things like that. Otherwise, Giving University pays for your airfare. We pay for your lodging. We pay for your food. We do pay for visas, so we will cover the expense of the travel visa as well as the PCR test and what did you say, the antigen test. So we'll make sure we cover all of that as well. Dan, can you think of anything else that I'm missing?
No, I'm going to stop the recording right now, and then I'll talk
Okay.
some more.
Oh, great.
'Cause
Yeah.
that's the basics.